Okay, so I'm gonna be discussing the Adam and Eve story on this CIA file from public access, and I'm gonna try to debunk it. And I may go with a little bit of Adam and Eve in Atlantis, probably for next video. But okay, so there's this story that the Adam and Eve story is this cataclysm that kind of sets up Genesis in back in the old days. There used to be a bunch of cataclysms and people would have to start all over again. Now this kept happening and happening, that a lot of the a lot of the cultures kept writing about it. There's gonna be a major cataclysm, and then we have to prepare for a cataclysm. And then you have like a big time major civilization uh starts figuring out that there's gonna be a cataclysm, and they get extinct. Now the survivors um the survivors go on to found the uh set actually what I'm looking for is there the survivors go and set up, they start setting up the foundation for the Genesis stories, the Egyptian civilization, and the Babylonian civilizations. And this is where you get like a lot of the star people, a lot of star people, which could be possible. There could be aliens, but uh, I highly doubt it. It's the star people are kind of like more like the Egyptians and the Chinese, because there's a lot of evidence there. For me, there's a lot of evidence on the public, at least in the public domain, where you just read a bunch of papers from archaeologists just publishing uh that a lot of the Chinese and Egyptian civilizations are way older than what Western civilizations give people credit for. So, for example, like China, like when Jesus Christ was getting crucified, China was almost 1,000 years old, and then Egyptian culture has been around for 4,000 years old. For 4,000 years old. So in this CIA file, it talks about that every couple of 6,000 years, the cross is gonna move, right? So the cross moves from you know it's gonna move from the Arctic to the equator. Apparently that's what it says, and then when it moves, all the water will shift, and that's where they come up with Noah's flood, because it flooded and all this water started gushing in from the oceans, because the crust moved back to its origin, to from the original position, rather than because you have the original positions, which are the Arctic and the North Pole being up north, but like it used to be in the equator. So for some reason there was a lot of debate by the CIA to classify this, and the survivors were Adam and Eve. So from my perspective, because I actually try to read, I became interested in uh, a lot of the public information they had on Ice Age civilizations, and I can clearly say that whatever Earth shifts or pole shift, the pole shift um it will happen, but the problem is the crust is not gonna tilt 90 degrees. Uh, is that what that's what the pole shifting people think is gonna happen, but it's not. Like physics can't particularly explain a lot of the phenomena, but like the the physics of the whole planet just shifting 90 degrees is not gonna happen. The whole, I mean, the whole crust will actually would create a whole, like if it actually did happen, it would create a whole moon, just because of the water just stopping and then being thrown out into outer space, because that would that's pretty much sufficient enough force to get you into outer space, I guess. Because if you calculate the math, you know it's like a billion pounds of rock and water just stopping, and then the momentum of it, it's all gonna go in one direction. It's the energy can only fluctuate to the sky. But what I think it's what actually is gonna happen is that you have like this pole shift. It's gonna happen, but it's not gonna happen the way people I think it's gonna happen. It's only like halfway. It's partially right. It's partially wrong, because the moon actually is gravitationally locked to the cross. So the cross cannot move unless the moon disappears. So because the cross is only like about a mile thick in some areas, and underneath it is the mantle, and then you have, I mean, in the mantle you have metamorphic rock, and then you go to the center, and then you have like uh, your outer core and then your inner core. So there's a lot of layers of heat in that's melted, just compressed by gravitational pressure, and then the moon kind of holds the crust in a gravitational lock. So there's no way that the crust can move because it's gravitationally locked to the Earth crust. But the problem is that the inner core and the outer core are not gravitationally locked to the moon, because there's sufficient net mass to be attractive, but it's only like in the outer layers where the metamorphic rock is. So what's gonna end up happening is the momentum of the moon will carry the crust uh, from east to west like it normally does, but the inner crust and the inner core and outer core will shift the poles uh, from north to south. So when if like the pole shift, it's just gonna shift the pole magnetically. It's not gonna shift the crust, and it's not gonna affect almost nothing other than other than where your compass, because it happens roughly every somewhere around 10,000 years ago, and I think that happened because of uh other reasons that I can't remember. But my primary reason is yeah, I think it's partly happening is because of the sun, because the sun does it too. The sun is kind of like a plasma that shifts from polarity in every solar maximum and solar minimum. And right now we have that Betelgeuse that's happening as well. So you have neutrino interactions making the Ring of Fire kind of really, really, really bad, because there's a lot of news about it, and that's why I think it's gonna happen. So like uh, I may do a second video, part two, going into a little bit more detail, but it's mostly the